Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, we're going to talk more about JFK assassination, and we're going to talk more about the fatal headshot to JFK and stuff. And I'm also going to point out some facts when we're going to do research on investigation into this case. Now, for years now, a lot of people keep on saying that, there's more people out there believes in the conspiracy than there is people believes in the Warren Commission report. But as I point out, they're telling us this or that so we can believe their stories on one thing or another. But there's a lot of reasons why more people today, and even back then, believes in the Warren Commission report. And I'm going to point out these facts here. Excuse me. When we're looking at this, okay, when someone says a shot came from the south side, okay, they're going to show us ballistic tests and stuff like that. And they're going to show it this way, and they're going to say, well, see, it's possible that a shot came from there. But then again, when we look at something like this, okay, we're going to say, okay, well, if the shot came from the south side, as I point out, why didn't JFK go to the right? Do you see what I'm saying? Why didn't the blood spatter and brain matter and everything else go over to the right side of the vehicle? Why did it all move over to the left side of JFK's limo? Plus, plus you got to look at the fact of where's Mrs. Conley at? Where's Mrs. Kennedy at? Where's Governor Conley at? Where's the driver and the passenger? Okay, when you put them back in a position, which I'll point up right here, okay, we'll pull this one up here, and we'll place this here. We'll open this up over here. Okay, when we put these people in these positions again, okay, this is why people don't believe no shots came from the south side. Because when you look at this and you say, okay, well, the shots came from the south side, which there's no evidence back up, just only a ballistic test or somebody's word. And when you see it done this way, you can say, yeah, but you have questions now. Why didn't, like I said, why didn't the brain matter and blood spatter and stuff go over to the right side of the vehicle? How did it end up on the left side? Why wasn't JFK pushed off to his right? Where's there an entry wound on the left side of JFK's head or anything? They can't answer none of that because their ballistic test is not going to tell them that, and they're not going to be able to see that. That's why they only use one subject in a vehicle to prove their case. But when you use a reality part where you see put Mrs. Kennedy back here, Mrs. Conley right back here, Governor Conley right here, the driver and the passenger, you will see when you line these up, what's going to happen. The passenger, driver, Governor Conley, Mrs. Conley is going to be hit before JFK. This is the reason why they only use one subject in the car and nobody else in the surroundings or anything else, so they could try to pull off that ballistic test. This is the reason why a lot of people don't. There's some people out there, don't get me wrong, believe in the shot came from the south side. But there is no evidence to back it up. There is zero evidence. Just a word and ballistic test they done on an individual, one subject, that's it. But when you look at reality-wise, you place the people back car stuff, you're going to see it never could, it actually cannot be done. It cannot be done without striking somebody else before JFK gets shot. So you see, this is the reason why a lot of people are still pushing more towards the Warren Commission report, saying Oswald's a lone assassin. He's the lone assassin. He took the 3 shots and that's it. And there's still a lot of thousands, millions of people out there still believe in the Warren Commission report. And when you go into conspiracy-wise, this is why people don't believe in a gunman on the south side stuff. This is why a lot of people don't believe in a conspiracy, because of this information that's given out, because they're going to sit there and say, well, how come he didn't move this position, as the questions I pointed out, because there's no answers to them questions, because they can't answer them. There's no way they can answer them. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of people is not really into the conspiracy part of the JFK assassination. Now let's go into the gunman behind a picket fence. Mostly what places the gunman behind picket fences, as you see here. As years go along, other people starts pushing this issue and say, well, the gunman's behind a picket fence, the gunman's behind a picket fence stuff. But the original people that started this whole behind a picket fence was Beverly Oliver, Gene Hill, and Ed Hoffman. And, Lee Bowers you know, Lee Bowers, they said, well, you know, the gunman behind this location here. He didn't specifically say behind the picket fence. It's just like in this location here that he says, but everybody's pointing into behind the picket fence. But like I said, the original people that started this whole behind the picket fence area mostly was the Bushka Lady, Beverly Oliver, Gene Hill, Ed Hoffman, and then later on we have James Files coming out saying he was assassinated behind the picket fence. He used a firebolt. He took the fatal shot at JFK. And then we have some researchers out there says that there was the badge man behind the picket fence. So what we're going to do here is we're going to investigate the story. Now we've done the research, okay? These are the people claiming they're doing it, and here are the locations they was at. And these are the people said they seen gunmen behind the picket fence. Now, Beverly Oliver says she's the Babushka lady. This is the location she was in when she was filming. And she's seen the assassin behind a picket fence. But the simple fact of it is this. When you do an investigation, you start going checking on her backstory and everything else, you'll find out that she was telling us false information. So with all her false information and stuff, and no evidence to prove that she was in fact the Babushka lady, because even the type of camera that the Babushka lady was using, Beverly Oliver says she was using a camera that came out in 67 or 68, 4 years after or 5 years after the assassination of JFK. So there's a lot of flaws in the story, but I'm not going to pick it apart or nothing. I'm just going, you know, making this video here, giving examples. So after doing an investigation on Beverly Oliver, find out she's not the Babushka lady, so her story is false. So we're going to eliminate her. Now we have Jean Hill. Again, she has a lot of stuff in her story that she tells. She first sit there says that, you know, she heard the shots, but she didn't see where the shots came from. Then later on changed her story and says she's seen where the shots came from. But when we watch the Zapruder film and when we're looking at the films and images and stuff like that, we can see that she wasn't even looking at JFK's limo at the time or towards the grassy knoll because she was too concentrating on a police officer there. So, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and pick apart a bunch of stuff because I made videos on their stories and stuff like that. But now we're going to eliminate Jean Hill. Okay, so now we have Jean Hill and Beverly Oliver's story gone. This is why people don't believe behind a gunman behind a picket fence. Well, they did testing on the badge man to find out if that badge man can be there in that location, take that shot to JFK. And they're testing to prove a gunman, which is with badge man right in this location here, could take a shot here and strike JFK over here and have a clear view past this wall. This gunman would have to be 20 feet behind the picket fence and on a 20-foot step ladder to take a shot and have his image taken like that and everything else. So now he has to be 20 feet back and 20 feet high. So this eliminates the badge man. I made a video on this too. I'm not going to try to pick it apart and stuff. I'm just going through and show you the reason why a lot of people don't believe in a lot of people's stories. Now we have Ed Hoffman down here. Ed Hoffman's 300 yards away. His story he tells, change and stuff like that, even position of the fatal headshot to JFK and all this stuff. And it's been proven that he actually was telling false stories as well. He just wanted to get his name out there in the books and everything else like all the rest of them did. So now we have to eliminate him. So at this point, we already eliminate the badge man. We already eliminate Jean Hill, Beverly Oliver, and Ed Hoffman. Now let's go ahead and talk about James Files. James Files says he was the only man behind there, behind the picket fence. He used a firebolt, and he shot from around in this location here somewhere. I just put it here, but he said around this location here. And he took the fatal headshot JFK. But when we start investigating his story and look into his things that he tells in his story and stuff and how he presents his story and stuff like that, we find out his story was false as well. So now we have to eliminate him. So that only leaves us with Lee Bowers. Now a lot of people sit there and say, oh, well, Lee Bowers is talking about over here, but he's actually talking about in this location right here. Okay, this is a pretty good big location right here itself, right here. So when you're looking at it, they're placing it in this location right here, okay. He could have been mistaken on some things as well, but it's, you know, he passed away. I think he died of a car wreck a few months after the assassination. Okay, but that's when the whole conspiracy started about all these eyewitnesses are dying now because of that. That's why I said they want to push more false stories into what has nothing pertaining. His car wreck had nothing pertaining to the JFK assassination, but they want to bring that in there. So now when we look at this, we eliminate all these people's stories, okay? And really, his story, we're not eliminating Lee Bauer's story. We're just limiting on the location that people's pointing to. Because he really was specifically saying, right in this location here, right in this location here. He was talking about this location here. But we're already eliminated out of all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6 stories. Again, this is the reason why people believe more in the Warren Commission report than they believe in the story of a gunman behind a picket fence. Because these people are telling us stories, but they're telling us false information. A lot of researchers base their stories and base their evidence on what these people told them. Okay, when researchers do research into into JFK assassination, they did research. As for what I did was I did research and an investigation. The research first, then the investigation. The investigation, what gives us more information. The investigation tells us what's true and what's false. Okay, researchers base what is told to them. Okay, I base what's told to me, but also what can be seen, what can be done, investigate if that story is true of one thing or another. That's why my research is totally different than everybody else's. Again, this is the reason why no one believes in this story of a gunman behind a picket fence. Even though there's people out there, as I point out, there's people out there who still believes there was a shot from the south side with no evidence, zero evidence to prove that a shot came from the south side. But same here, okay? They believe in these people's stories, okay, but they've never done the investigation. They don't have the evidence that a lot of people looks at over these people. So they're going to still base their research and their theories and their account on what these people tell us. You know what I'm saying? Like Beverly Oliver, Gene Hill, and James Files, and Ed Hoffman, and them. They're basing on what these people said. Okay, but as a true researcher and true investigator, you don't do that. You don't base nothing until you have all the evidence together and compiled. But again, that's why a lot of the public doesn't believe in conspiracy, because of the stories and people's proving that them being wrong. This is again why people still believe in the Warren Commission report. Now we're going to go into my research. Now, here's what I present. Okay, and as you see here, it's totally different than the other two maps I showed you. Am I correct? What I'm presenting here is not a story from me, not a theory from me, okay? Not a story, not a theory. I'm presenting facts. I'm presenting, and the story I'm telling is what the films and images tell us. So see, basically, what you're seeing here is what the films and images are telling us what took place that day. I just pieced it all together. That's all I've done. The films and images tell us a story. Let me show you something. Let's look at this. They said the fatal headshot blew off the back of JFK's head and everything else, right? But we see in this Zapruder film, the right side of JFK's head opens up right here. We see in autopsy images the right side of JFK's head is completely gone. Not the back side, the right side. Then we have eyewitnesses, which is the Newmans, is right here. As you see, as I point out, front row center. I hate to say it that way, front row center, because here's the limo where JFK was shot. Here is the Newmans, right here, front row center. They said right side of JFK's head. Same thing as Mr. Zapruder and Mrs. Sussman actually said, the right side of JFK's head. All right, as you see, here's the right side of JFK's limo, left side of JFK's limo. When you're a pedestrian, you're on the side like the Newmans and Mrs. Sussman and Mrs. Zapruder. This will be their left and this will be their right. Okay. Now, Governor Connolly says I only heard 2 shots and I was hit by the second shot. I was looking off to my right, and as I was turning to my left, when I was looking out to the right, I heard a shot. And then as I was turning over to my left, I heard another shot, and then I felt a blow on my back. Okay, that's him right here, and that's Governor Connolly right here. All right, now his story fits with what we see in the films and images. The Newman story fits what we see in the films and images. Mr. Zapruder, first testimony, fits what we see in the films and images. Mrs. Sussman, it's if on certain things, a lot of stuff I don't believe, but some things do match. Okay, that's the same thing as when I talk about people and stuff like that, and the eyewitnesses stuff. If some of it even matches, I'll still look at possibilities. Okay, but when it don't match completely at all, that's when I have to push it aside and say it's false information because it doesn't fit completely at all. There's nothing in there that fits it. But Mrs. Etzman still lived there, but she was holding on to Mrs. Prude, but she had something to do because we can see in the films and images. Now, anyway, as you see here, Bessner Images was taken way up here. Way up here, Bessner image. Shows the shelter and it shows a rifle sticking out of the window of this shelter down here. Mary Mormon, standing right over here, took her image, shows two gunmen inside of shelter number 3 right here with rifles in their hand. Darnell, when he was running down this way, he took this image right here, which is the side view of the shelter, which is around this location here, which shows two gunmen, one of them still aiming his rifle from his left side. We have the Bronson film way over here now, the Bronson film way over here, showing two shots coming from the shelter number 3 right here. We also have the Zapruder film, Orville Nix film, excuse me, the Orville Nix film. That shows a shot being fired from the window of the shelter and a shot from the side of the shelter. So we have different people in different locations, all around Dealey Plaza, all around JFK's limo, different locations, filming different location stuff, showing shelter number 3 of where two shots came from and where these shots made contact with. Even the Zapruder film shows the bullet made contact with JFK and Governor Connally. All right, and then we have to look at too as well. We have an image right here taken, some films taken right here, of a couple was right in this location here, and the guy gets up, runs over here, and starts looking over to shelter number 3. We have an images and stuff from films taken over in this location, and one of the images shows smoke in this location right here, where the Newmans are. See, the Newmans is right there. And then there's a smoke there and smoke there. Shows smoke in this location here. Okay, we even see in the rifle fire from the Orville Nix film and the Bronson film, showing the smoke coming this direction. So it's in this direction. So the smoke trails and stuff is in this vicinity right here. Now remember, when Senator Yarborough and all of them start coming out, another eyewitnesses claim they smelled gunpowder, gun residue in this location right here. So you see all of this is fitting and all this stuff is lining up. I go ahead and get my friend take an image of the shelter, the window where that shot came from that we see in the Orville Nix film and in the Bronson film. And this is the location what we see. And we see from this location JFK be pushed off to his left. Matches up the same thing we see in the Zapruder film, right? Being pushed off to his left. Not back or to the left, being pushed off to his left. That'll be the same angle right here. Being pushed off to his left. As we see when the shot comes out, it's going to push JFK to his left. Same thing as we see in the Zapruder film. And then, I did my testing where I show, how they were standing inside the shelter. And then how I ID the gunman and stuff, which is the two tramps. Because they have a butt plate of an imprint of a rifle on his left lapel. And we see him aiming, firing his rifle from his left side and everything else. Now, as you see here, these are different images and different films taken in different locations. And all of them shows two gunmen inside shelter number 3. Okay, the films and images are showing this. I'm presenting what the films and images tell us. So see, it's not my story, it's the films and images story that I'm telling. As you see here, there is film being filmed here, Orville Nix over here, Bronson over here, Mormon over here, Darnell running down this way, Bessner over here, another one person here, another person here, Zapruder here, and Governor Connally sitting here giving his story. Everything's fitting in. Smoke has all been found up in this location here. We have the Newmans down here. Everything's fitting, and they're all in different locations now, mind you. They're all in different locations. Okay, they're all in different locations. And all of them is fitting in to what we see in the films and images. Now, this is the reason why today some people are starting to believe, yes, there might have been a conspiracy. Not because of what I'm telling the story, is what I'm presenting. Because when we look at this, okay, let's look at this for a minute here, which I'll bring this one up, and I'll bring, let's see, where's it at? This one up. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring them all up. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, whoops. We have the south side shot. We have the gunman behind the grassy picket fence area, and then we have mine. As you see here, when you talk about the south side shots coming from the south side of the grassy knoll, of Dilly Plaza, there's zero evidence to back it up. There's nothing else to back up. There's no eyewitnesses to back it up or anything else. Only a trajectory that they've done into ballistic test. That's it. That's all they have to show their evidence. Nothing else. And the gunman behind the picket fence area. Only thing they have to show is actually, like again, as I point out, zero evidence. Because we already talked about the eyewitnesses. We have to eliminate them because the stories were false. So we have, again, zero evidence of any gunman behind a picket fence. So in this one here, and this one here, we have zero evidence. So if we have zero evidence, this is why everybody keeps on believing there wasn't a conspiracy. There wasn't one. This is the reason why people believe in the Warren Commission report. Because there was only Oswald there. And 3 shots fired, and that's it. There can't be a conspiracy. Everybody in the conspiracy field is nuts. They're crazy and stuff. They're saying this and they're saying that. Saying there was gunman here. Where's the evidence at? They're saying the shot came from the south side. Where's the evidence at? Okay. Well, this person here says Beverly Oliver was lying is what they're going to tell us. She was lying. So what do you guys evidence? You see what I'm saying? This is the argument. Now we have arguments and stuff. So you see that's argument back and forth. Mine, as you see over here, I'm showing films from different films and images taken in different locations. And every one of them is showing shelter number 3, where 2 shots, the fatal headshot JFK came from and the shot to Governor Connally came from. It's not a story. It's not a theory. Okay, this is what the films and images telling us. Okay, it's not my story. As you see, it's not my story here. It's the evidence I'm presenting, the evidence I found. This is what the films and images tell us what took place right there where the fatal headshot happened. That's what the images and photos are telling us. And that's all I'm doing is presenting it to the public what the images are telling us. You know what I'm saying? Just like we look at here. Here's the Mormon photo, which I'll pull this up. This is the black and white Mormon photo. What do we see in this photo? Okay, people want to sit there and look at this badge man or whatever right in this location, supposedly in this location here. But what's this image tells us? Well, we know the back of JFK's head's not opened up, but we can see the right side of JFK's head's gone as we see right here. We can see partial of his head's gone here. We can see also in the shelter, one gunman here looking out of the top window, rifle sticking out right here with his hands holding it. Another gunman coming around out of the shelter with a rifle in his hand. This is what the Mormon's telling us. This is what the Mormon photo is telling us. Excuse me, I should say it that way. This is what the Mormon photo is telling us. What is going on? 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3. Then we go into Orville Nick's film. The Orville Nick's film tells us, hey, there's a shot being fired from that window there. We line up this frame with this Zapruder film, find out if it lines up with 313. Well, the Orville Nick's film's telling us the shot came from this window here. The Zapruder film's telling us where that shot made contact with the right side of JFK's head. That's all it is just lining up all the frames, all the films, and all the images. Okay, Governor Connally. Governor Connally says, you know, I was looking off to my right, and then I was turning over to my left, and I felt the blow in my back. Again, Orville Nick's film tells us a gunman shooting a rifle from the side of the shelter. When we line this frame up with the Zapruder film, it lines up with frame 330 of the Zapruder film. The Orville Nick's film shows us the shot to Governor Connally. The Zapruder film shows us the impact to the back of Governor Connally's back. So the Orville Nick's film shows us the shot. The Zapruder film shows the impact of the bullet entering Governor Connally's back as he's turned off to his left, as he said. So the Zapruder film's fitting his story. The Orville Nick's film is fitting his story. You see what I'm saying? Everything's fitting. Same thing as the Bronson film. The Bronson film shows us the shot being fired from the shelter window right here. Smoke trail right here. So you see, and it also shows us the Orville Nix film too and stuff. I had them images, but that's in my files and stuff like that. And as we see here, the shot from that window, where's it going to push JFK off to? To the left. Am I correct? When you look at that view from that window where the sniper took his shot, because we see the films and in any images, we see the shot, the fatal headshot came to JFK from this window here. Proven fact. No matter, anybody can say, oh, no, it is, no, it's not. The shot came from the shelter. I mean, came from behind the picket fence or the south side shot. No, proven fact. You're calling the films and images liars, is what you're doing when you're doing that way, because the films and images shows us the fatal headshot to JFK came from shelter number 3 from the window of that shelter. When we look at this view, it's going to, a gunman's view, the shot is going to fire from here, is going to push JFK off to the left, which so he's going to be shot here and being pushed off to his left. Same thing as we've seen in this Zapruder film. Shot in right side of the head, being pushed off to his left. Brain matter and blood spatter and stuff is going to go over to the left of JFK's lemma, as we see in the films and images as well, and what was told in the stories. So you see, everything that I'm presenting, everything I'm telling, is presented with the photographic evidence, because this is what the films and images tell us. Okay, this, like I said, when I try to point this stuff out, this here is a story. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less than a story. This right here, oops, this mouse, I'm going to have to buy me a new mouse here soon, is a story. This here is what we see in films and images. Okay, this is what we see in films and images. This shots from the south side is a story, as I pointed out. This right here is told by eyewitnesses, is a story because there's no evidence to back it up. It's just a story told about a gunman behind a picket fence area. And then we over here, we have the films and images telling us no, the shots came from shelter number 3. Films and images are showing us where that shots came from, shelter number 3, because it's showing us in the films and images, which is taken in different locations now, and they're all lining up. That's what I'm trying to point out too when they talk about ordering images and stuff. All these images are lining up with one another, and it was taken in different locations from different people and different angles. Okay, and they're all showing 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3 taking 2 shots with rifles in their hands, aiming rifles and all. Here, a story. Here, a story. That's all it is. A story in a ballistic test. A story. What films and images show us what took place that day. So you see, there's a big difference when you start viewing this and stuff like that, okay? People sit there and says, oh, well, you're working on theories, Leroy, or, you know, you're just telling another story like everybody else. No, I'm not telling another story. The only story I'm telling you is what the films and images are showing us. I told you there's a gunman that could be seen, 2 gunmen be seen in the Mormon photo. How we know? Because we can look at the Mormon photo, we see the 2 gunmen with rifles in their hands. Okay? I just present the location where I found these at. That's all it is. The films and images has always been there. The films and images always shows us what took place that day. It's just nobody bothered to investigate and look into it. I did. I took the time and looked into it and investigated that. Okay, I took the time and investigated into these people's stories to see what was false and what was true. Okay, this is the reason why here, and this is the reason why here, a lot of people, and we're talking millions of people, don't believe there was a conspiracy because of these stories. They don't believe in it. But there's people now changing their story, and a lot of people says, well, you know what, Mr. Blevins, I get emails time and time again. You know, I always get a lot of bad emails, but I get some good emails too. And they said, you know, I always thought that Oswald, you know, was the lone assassin. I always thought that, you know, that people was talking about the conspiracy were crazy and nuts. But after viewing your videos and seeing the images that you present and stuff like that, there was a conspiracy. And for past plus years, I've always believed in the Warren Commission report. And then there's other people sitting there saying, well, I believe there was a conspiracy, but no one's never really showed us no evidence until you presented, Mr. Blevins. You presented, you know, the films and images that shows gunmen with rifles in their hands and firing from those locations and everything else, because it's always been in front of the public's eye. So now people starting to change their mind, but I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm just here to present what can be seen in the films and what can be seen in the images. And when you line it all up, as you see here, it fits. It fits. You line it all up, it fits. Where the smoke can be seen and talked about by eyewitnesses. The location where gun residue or gunpowder had been smelled in this location here, and all fits. Their stories are fitting in. All these people's stories are fitting in, and everything else is fitting in, and we're seeing different angles from different films and images showing 2 shots being fired from shelter number 3. Eyewitness account says, shots came from behind him. Okay, the location of this gunman that took the fatal headshot at JFK, a shot from that location is going to push JFK off to the left. Everything's going to go to the left side, as we see in the Zapruder film. Zapruder film and other images and stuff like this shows the right side of JFK's heads open up right along with eyewitness accounts. So see, everything's fitting. Their stories are fitting. The images are telling us and showing us what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like Mr. Connolly, Governor Connolly, he said he was looking off to his right, and this Zapruder film shows us him looking off the right. JFK's head exploded from 1 shot because he said he only heard 2 shots, and he's very close to the assassin's location. So yeah, these are only 2 shots going to hear, because all these shots are that was taken from behind, is way in the back, inside the buildings, or way up on top of the buildings, and way above crowd level. But this is ground level to him, more closer. This is only 2 shots he can hear right here. But remember, he says he was looking off to his right. He heard 1 shot, and he tried to look further back, couldn't see nothing, so he starts turning to his left. He heard the 2nd shot, and he felt the blow on his back. We see his story unfold in the Zapruder film. And in Orville Nick's film, we see the story unfold of what these eyewitnesses claim. In the Bronson film, we see this story unfold of what the eyewitnesses are telling us. Everything that these eyewitnesses are saying, okay, we can see it unfold in front of our eyes by the films and images, because they all fit and they all work in. Senator Yarborough says, I smelled, another eyewitness says, I smelled gunpowder, gun residue in this location here. So it's fitting in. They seen smoke in this location right here. It's fitting in because the shots came from here. So you see what I'm saying? Everything's fitting in when you put it on maps. Now you tell me, and that's what gets me. People says, I believe in what is told to me than what I can see. None of it's fitting. None is fitting in what we see in the films or images, or even stories that surrounds the JFK assassination. It's not even fitting. This here, is not even fitting. But everything over here that we see in the films and images is fitting. I wanted to make this video here point some more of this out. Like I said, I'm not here to change people's minds. All I'm here is presenting what can be seen in the films and what can be seen in the images. That's all I'm presenting. Okay, the story I'm telling is what's being told from the films and images. That's the story I'm telling. Okay, so, like I said, you could either believe what you can see or what's told to you. Okay, that's your decision. I'm not here, like I said, I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to make tons of money. Okay, I'm here just to present what can be seen in the films and images and show people what can be seen in these films and images. That's all I'm here for. That's all I'm doing. That's all I've ever done. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Always in the description down below, you'll find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, on paperback and Kindle. Only book you ever need in JFK assassination. Thank you, and you all have a pleasant day.